And it says we are live. So welcome back, everybody, to Wizardly Ramblings. And I believe this is number 9. And I am joined by possibly the queen of BookTube, Merphy Napier. If you don't know who Merphy is, you're doing it wrong. And Merphy, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and what your channel's all about?
I'm Merphy. I talk about things that I read, just like everybody else here.
Clear, concise, and to the point. So, one thing that I want to talk about first is you like One Piece, right?
I do.
And I have to talk about this because one of my patrons wanted me to ask you about it. Have you heard of The Wandering Inn?
The guy?
No, The Wandering Inn it's literally one of the longest lit RPG series out there.
Oh,
it's
yeah, Matt talked about that, eh?
Yeah, it's 3 times longer than The Wheel of Time.
Yeah, that's not, I mean, okay, so I know that the Wandering Inn fandom is like super hyped about it. They love it, right?
So far, I've read the first volume and I love it.
Okay, so I know that the fandom is big, like big love for it.
Yeah.
But pitching it as longer than the Wheel of Time is not a good call.
So it's a way different vibe than the Wheel of Time.
Okay.
But I mean, so like I did the first one on an audiobook, which the first one's currently getting redone.
Ooh.
But like to kind of explain it, on the website, one of the pieces of merch you can buy is an engraved frying pan. It's a cast iron skillet. And that should be all you need to know. It's got goblins, it's got leveling systems, it's got people from our world ending up in fantasy world and not understanding how to. I love it. I love it. So one of my patrons was just like, you have to talk to Merphy about Wandering Inn, and I was like,
the first book is over 1,000 pages,
but it goes really quickly.
No,
it goes really quickly.
It's
Don't
11 books long, and
it's much longer because that's just what's published.
No. I like the cover. Will I read this? I don't know.
Well, whenever you're done with One Piece, because you're much further in One Piece than I ever got.
Oh, that's why you started off by asking me about One Piece, because you're like, you can't say you don't like long series. I gotcha.
Yeah, you can't say you don't like long series because you're literally on like chapter 1095 as of like.
You don't know.
Isn't that what your latest content was 195?
It's 190.
Or 1090. Okay. But yeah, I made it to the New World. And then I kind of lost and went ooh squirrel. But that was well pre-BookTube. I was probably 2017.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a long series. I understand.
I need to get back to it. I love One Piece because I never got to see Gear 4. I want to see Gear 4. Like, I've seen the pictures of Gear 4, and they just released Gear 5.
I didn't want to say it when you were like, I want to see Gear 4. I was like, Gear 5 is cool too.
I hopped onto Reddit and immediately went Gear 5 Luffy, and I was just like, well, that's cool.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about the gears is like you can see what it looks like, but that doesn't actually tell you anything about like what this level up actually is. It's really fun.
Yeah. No, it's an amazing series, and I really want to get back to it. But how did you get into One Piece? Did Daniel get you into it?
I got Daniel into it, actually.
Oh, you got Daniel into it. Okay.
No, it was just the fandom's intense. I don't know if you've noticed, but just a lot of pestering, a lot of like, hey, read this. And I was trying to get into manga anyway, and I just was struggling to get into it. And so I was like, okay, sure, try this one next. And it got me.
Immediately took off. Great found family. Like, if you love found family, One Piece is
and that's like my favorite trope of all time. So yeah. Obviously I'm gonna love it. But also I love great world building. I love portal fantasy, and One Piece jumping from island to island is essentially portal fantasy. I mean, not really.
It's also portal fantasy.
Don't.
The Wandering Inn. Okay, I'll stop pestering you.
No, it's okay. You're just doing it for your patron. You don't even care.
I do care. I like the series, but it will make him incredibly happy. And I can already see they're talking about it in the comments.
Is your patron the author of The Wandering Inn?
No, I'm not cool enough to have Pirate Ada as my patron. No, you can see.
Lit RPG authors always choose the coolest names.
I know, right? Nobody 103. Writing.
Yeah, that's Mother of Learning, eh?
Yeah, these right here.
Ha!
Oh, you've got it too? Oh, very cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
Oh,
I got mine Mylar wrapped.
Hold on.
Don't drop books.
Ha! No.
Ah!
We're such booktubers.
Oh, it's like literally my thing. Is when I'll be on a live stream and somebody will mention a book and I just reach out, grab the book, and I'm like, you mean this one?
That's so smart. I use the bokeh effect on my nonsense. So my bookshelves are a bit back. So in order for me to reach back and grab something, I have to like strain myself.
Yeah, you film kind of off at an angle.
Is
it called bokeh?
No, bokeh is so like it's me in focus and then it's like a little bit blurry behind me. So it's you know what I'm saying? I think that's what it's called.
I use my iPhone.
Well, I'm married to a photographer, so he goes.
I use this right here.
Yeah, that's what I would be doing if my husband weren't so invested in it. But he changes all the settings for me. Like he changes out the lenses for me. I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna film this video. Can you go make it so I can do that?
Yeah, make me look pretty on YouTube.
Pretty much. Make me look like I know what I'm doing, because we all know I don't.
We're all just flying by the seat of our pants.
None of us know what we're doing, except Daniel probably. But
probably.
I did a video with Patrick, and it was so embarrassing. Thankfully it was pre-recorded, but like we couldn't talk because it like my internet kept cutting out. So I had to move into my daughter's room, but then there was junk all over the floor. So I'm like, I've got him on the computer as I'm trying to clean up the floor. And it was just, I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. Like you probably thought that I was way more put together than this.
I just did a video with Patrick about a month ago, I guess now at this point. And my daughter just barged right into the middle of the video. So luckily he was good enough at editing. He was just able to cut that right out.
I've seen her in your live streams before.
She climbs me like a freaking monkey.
Yeah.
You'll just see this head come into frame, just look right at me. Daddy, I miss you. It's like I'm right here. I haven't gone anywhere all day. You can't miss me.
I've literally spent hours with you. Yeah, I try really hard not to have my kids on camera. So when they do that to me, I'm like, quick, close the screen. Stop it.
Well, so I used to have, before I moved into this house, I had an office that had double doors that I could shut.
Yeah.
And then I had like one of those baby proofing locks that you put on like the pantry.
Yeah.
And I could do that. And it's like, now you can't get in. This is all wide open. Open concept. Like you watch HGTV and you're like, man, I really want an open concept house.
And then you have kids.
Yeah.
That's how we are too. Our living room is set up so it's like kind of like a double living room, and and it's just an archway. But like we need an office. We work from home. So we have a living room because we don't have enough furniture to fill 2 spaces. And then we have just like an office space that's just off the living room. So if either of us need to work when the kids are around, it's just like turn the volume up real loud, I guess.
You are one of the few people, I think you're the first person I've ever talked to who does BookTube full time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What's that like?
Awesome.
It's just awesome.
It's just awesome. I just
so cool.
Yeah, I just I get to, do something I love. I read and I talk about books. I get to plan out my videos and then just structure my day around making that happen. It's awesome. Some days my work day is reading. I love it.
That is the. Although usually. Hi.
Oh, speaking of.
You want to say hi to Daddy's friend?
Hi.
Say hi. Hi. Okay, go with mommy. Go with mommy. That way. Sorry.
It's okay.
But yeah, no. It's so I work from home as well.
Do you?
And you can actually see I'm wearing my bone conduction headphones, right there. So I always just work with those on. So I do audiobooking literally all day.
Right. Smart.
But yeah, that way. That's how I like. Everyone's like, you read so much. I listen a lot.
Is it hard for you? I feel like if I multitask work wise, then I lose the plot sometimes.
Well, so the thing I love about these headphones is there's a big button on the side that's quick pause and quick resume. So if I
Yeah.
have to just sit in and focus, I'll tap it real quick.
Yeah.
So that I can then focus on what I'm doing. And then once I tap it again, I'm back in the audiobook.
Yeah.
Usually, like I just only have to focus for 5 to 10 minutes on any specific issue, unless it's a massive issue, then it's phone
Yeah.
calls, emails. Ugh.
Yeah.
What do you do, Andrew? I work in customer experience, customer service.
Oh, okay.
I am a contract cancellation specialist.
Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting.
So,
all right.
yeah.
You must just be better at multitasking than me. Because like there's few things I can do at my computer and listen to a book. I can cook and listen to a book or drive, but I can't like work.
So it all started out where like I would listen to Doctor Who audio dramas. Like I'm repping my TARDIS on my chest. And
Very cool.
So like those were like audio dramas where it's like very acted out. It's just a radio drama. And I used to do all of those, and then that just naturally led me into audiobooking. So it was just kind of a seamless transition.
You just trained your brain to it.
Yeah, I just trained my brain to it. It's the same way with like people who like train their brain to like process audiobooks faster at higher speeds.
Oh, just like weaning yourself onto it.
Mm-hmm. So like you'll bump it up like 0.1%, 0.1, 0.1, 0.1, and then you're at like 1.5,
mm-hmm.
and that cuts down your commitment time. But like then it gets weird because then I'll be talking to somebody. I'm like, you should be talking faster.
Really? Do you actually have that experience?
Yeah, my brain can't. My brain has to switch back to like, okay, I'm having a conversation with somebody.
Wow.
I need to slow down.
Interesting.
It's weird. It only lasts for a couple minutes, but
yeah. I get that with videos. If I watch back videos, that I'm like, okay, you're not as fast as my audiobook, but human interactions, I don't think I've ever wanted to speed up a human before.
It was weird. It first happened when I'll tell you what. So I watch YouTube on like 1.25, 1.5, and at one point I was like trying to find something specific, and I had it on 0.2, and then it shuffled to a Daniel video. And Daniel on 2x speed for fantasy news is way too much.
That's really high energy.
Oh, it's just like, hey, welcome back. And he's like smacking stuff. And it's just like
explosions everywhere.
I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, Daniel on fast speed
for a long time though.
I have. Yes, I have.
How many years is that now?
Maybe 7.
7?
Maybe.
Okay. So I think because backstage I mentioned a video that you did where you had privated a bunch of your older videos and then you were reacting to younger you talking about books in your native accent.
My native, it's not even native, Andrew. That's the pitiful thing. It's not even my native accent. Yes. So you're talking about my Kentucky accent, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not from Kentucky. This is where I moved when I got married. So because Corey's from here. So, but when I first moved here, I worked for a pediatric center as like on the phones. And so all day long, people from all over the county were calling in. Do you talk as fast as your audiobook narration speed?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Oh yeah, so I was just always on the phone with people from like all over Kentucky, and so I was hearing all these like thick accents, and I, against my will, apparently picked it up a
You
little
just
bit.
adjust to it.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. And so in my early videos, when I first moved to Kentucky, you can hear me in that like chameleon phase, and I eventually dropped it again because I didn't want the accent, but yeah, no, that's not my native accent.
Fair enough. It's funny. So T from An Erudite Adventure brings it up. So he's referencing when I was talking about Daniel being all explosive.
Mm.
When I first started my channel, like I wanted to like set myself apart from like other because a lot of what BookTube is just you sitting there talking at a channel or
Yeah.
talking at a camera. So I basically ratcheted up my energy. Now I can be that energetic, but
Yeah.
I'm not usually.
Yeah.
And I was remembering Fred. Do you remember Fred from the early days of YouTube? Like
No.
big squeaky voice, like super high energy. There was like a Fred the movie. No?
No.
Drawing a blank. Okay. Well, so Fred was a very successful channel, very high energy. And I was just like, okay, I'm not going to do the squeaky voice thing, but I could be hyperactive in front of the camera. And so there was a good 4-month time where I was just like, I'm going to be the elevated version of myself.
Right.
And then I was like, this is exhausting.
Yeah.
And so then I just reverted back to this.
Especially because you post a lot. So having to do that all the time. Yeah.
I'm always changing my schedule.
At this point. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no! Like at this point, it's twice a week with like a short every day, or a short every day that I don't have a regular drop.
Oh my gosh!
And like one weekly live show.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good schedule. I need to start doing shorts. I forget about them all the time.
Yeah, people keep wanting me to do TikTok, and I refuse.
It's basically the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. So I was in Florida a couple months ago, and my cousin was like, "Oh yeah, you're doing this thing. Like, there's all of these book recommendations on TikTok." I was like, "I'm aware of what Book Talk is. I can't walk into a Barnes and Noble and not see the Book Talk table.
Yeah,
I'm only a little salty. Where's the BookTube table?" But I was just, I'm 33. I don't want to do it.
Yeah,
and so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I mean that's basically how I feel too. But I think the books that are more popular on Book Talk also aren't the kind of books that
apparently people remember.
Yeah, apparently I'm the one out of the loop.
So some people remember Fred. Very good. My buddy Andrew D. Meredith has arrived.
One of the OG YouTubers, squeaky voice, high energy, Fred. Corey doesn't know him either.
That's because you guys are obviously more stable than I am.
Probably not. You also
I'm the bad person here.
Told me that Beetlejuice is Batman, and that blew my mind.
Yeah, Beetlejuice is Batman.
I
promise. I'm not lying to you.
I'm not going to look it up, and I'm just going to pretend it's not true. I'm just going to refuse to believe it.
Are you kidding? I will send you to the movies. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Send me to the movie. Okay, you drive to Kentucky, and you send me to the movies for a movie that's crazy
not that
old.
far. Listen, I love me some bourbon, so I'm willing to go to Kentucky. Don't test me.
Okay, you come to Kentucky for your bourbon.
I will. Oh, yeah. He's also Birdman, but I don't know if you saw the movie Birdman.
I haven't seen Batman either. I'm just surprised. I've seen Beetlejuice, though. Got my priorities right.
You know what? I'll give you a pass because you've seen Beetlejuice.
Okay, good. I've seen it many times, so.
Which do you prefer, Beetlejuice or Hook?
Yeah, Corey says Hook. I don't know that I've seen Hook.
You haven't seen Hook?
Is that the one with Dante?
Yes, Robin Williams and
Zuko. Yeah. No, I don't think I've seen that.
You need to rectify this, Merphy.
I haven't seen
It's Robin Williams as Peter Pan.
Oh, I don't think I want that.
Show it to you before.
Yeah. Corey really, really loves that movie. I love Peter Pan, and I can't bring myself to watch adaptations of it.
I mean, so so I follow this British rare library thing, and they were telling me about the history of Peter Pan and how like Peter Pan isn't even Peter Pan. The original Peter Pan stories were about a boy who was a week old, and then it got
Peter Pan
adapted
in
into a
Gardens.
Say what?
Peter Pan in Kensington Gardens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read
it. I didn't know that. I didn't know that until this week.
Was Kensington Gardens, was that published before Peter Pan?
Mm-hmm. That's the original Peter Pan. And then the Peter and Wendy came out, I think, 10 years later. And that's the adaptation of the stage play.
Yeah.
And the stage play is what we think of as Peter Pan today.
Right. So I haven't read the stage play, but I own a couple copies of it. I have like a Peter Pan collection. And I own a couple copies of Kensington Gardens as well. And I've read it and I don't like it. But anyway, yeah, Peter Pan I love Peter Pan. And I love the idea of people taking the story and doing something different with it. I just haven't gotten the bravery to experience those something difference.
Fair enough. It's got Dustin Hoffman, though, as Hook.
I don't know who that is. I'm sorry. I don't know things.
Okay, that's fine. It's fine. You're forgiven. You're forgiven.
Oh, wow. That was easy. Awesome.
Yeah. No, I can't be mad at you. But
Sweet.
I can be a little sad, but I won't be mad.
Okay, I can handle a little bit of sadness. Have you seen Chitty Chitty Bang Bang? What?
Say what?
Have you seen Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
I have seen Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Oh, I thought I was gonna win
one. Classic.
Okay, well, then I'm not mad at you.
You don't like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
No, I love Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to win one, but you got it. So we're just still friends.
How could you not like Toot Sweets?
Yeah. And the song that he sings to his kiddos, I love that song. It's so sweet.
But I am scared to read the book.
For Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
Because it's by Ian Fleming.
I didn't even know there was a book.
Yeah, it's based off of a book by Ian Fleming, who did James Bond.
No, why do you know things?
I don't know, because I store random facts in my brain that are unimportant.
That's amazing.
So the first time, for everybody in the chat, the first time Merphy and I ever interacted on camera was for a Lord of the Rings watch along on the Meredith's channel, Andrew and Patricia Meredith. And I'm just sitting there throughout the entire watch along, just spouting random useless knowledge about the production of Lord of the Rings.
I learned so much that day.
My brain it stores like pop culture stuff and then just spouts it out.
Well, then we're good too, because my brain forgets everything, always.
Well, then it makes rereading an absolute delight for you, doesn't it?
That's so true.
So what are you currently reading?
Oh, hey, cool. Great transition. I'm reading the Dresden Files right now. I feel like that's one you would like. Do you like Dresden?
That's a complicated answer because I've read it 4 times.
Because what?
I've read it 4 times.
Sounds like a like.
Yes, but you ever like consume something so much that you kind of start getting like tired of it a little bit?
Yeah, you start to see the patterns and you start to see the cracks and you're like, wait a second, this isn't amazing.
Well, it's really good, and I like the themes, and I like everything in Dresden. I like Dresden's character arc. I like the expansion of the world. I like the animal companions. I like the found family. And, I like the battling of the inner demons, and I like all of that. It's just, we're 18 books in.
18? I thought there were 15 of them.
Might be 17.
I thought there were 15.
You can look it up. You can, if Spyro's in the comments, he will correct me. But there's also 2 short story collections, so I might be including those. But I've read all of them.
There are 17.
17.
Oh my goodness, what have I gotten myself into?
How far are you?
I'm on book 3.
Okay, well, you're at the part where like the cringiest of the cringe is like mostly behind you.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in some ghost stuff, so I'm happy about that. But yes, there is a lot of cringe. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So the first couple of books were released in the same year. Basically he had already written them, and I think it came out in 2000 or 2001. And awful TV adaptation. Don't watch it. But oh, it's awful. It's so bad. But I don't know. I've read also the Alex Verus series by Benedict Jacka.
I don't know.
That is a kind of like, he kind of gives Dresden a little nod in the story. He's like, there's that guy in Chicago.
Oh, nice.
He kind of does a little tip
Yeah.
of the hat. So I like that. But I've read both of those series, and that one ended at 11 books. It's just 18 is a lot of books.
Even though they're short, they are very short and they are very quick. The Dresden, not speaking of the other series that you were mentioning. But yeah, that's a lot of books.
Well, so back in the day, I worked third shift in a gas station.
Yeah.
And so like we'd lock the doors, and I'd just have to clean and help people through a window so we didn't get robbed.
You just have to shove people through windows. That sucks.
Well, no, you'd shove product and cigarettes, and
okay.
You had this little spinny thing. Anyway, once that was all done, by like 3 a.m., nobody's coming in except like very rarely, and I just kick my legs up, and I'd read Dresden books.
Nice.
So that's kind of my Dresden history. But yeah, I've read Dresden.
Yeah, I feel like they're really great for like, because we read so many big books and like really vast books, and Dresden is so streamlined, and I think he does a really good job of packing a lot into a little bit and doesn't do a lot of side tangents. So it's just easy to just like flick through them. So I don't know, reading one a month I think is fun.
You know what you've gotten yourself in for, though, right?
No, what?
It's a planned 22 or 23 book series, and then an apocalypse trilogy.
Okay. Why not?
But that's years away. It's years away. There's only 17 right now, with 18 coming out in the like next year or so.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, that's it. You're fine. You're fine. You're golden.
You called me out in the beginning of the stream that I'm not allowed to be mad about long series.
Yeah, to be fair, I'm signing myself up for The Wandering Inn. So.
Yeah, well, good for you. That page count is rough.
Yeah, the page. I think right now it's currently 16,000 pages long, the series, and it's about half to 2/3 done.
No, I'm trying to think of a really long book series that I've read other than Wheel of Time, and I can't think of any. Like, I feel like long.
Have you done any Discworld?
Oh yeah, I love Discworld, but that's different too somehow.
Let's see. There's Discworld. There's really long. Do you count Stephen King's Multiverse?
I guess you could, but I'm not a huge King reader.
You did a short a while ago, speaking of King, and you said you wanted some recommendations. Did you ever pick any that you read, and did you like it?
I read it.
Did you like it?
I loved the first half, and then the second half really kind of stopped being incredible and just turned into, that's still good. And then the ending was just like, I really want to make you hate me. So I came away with really mixed feelings. I loved the first half. I can say that for sure.
Did you do it on audio?
I physically read it mostly. I did a little bit of audio.
I will say it is an amazing audiobook as well. Like an amazing audiobook.
I couldn't do the audio. I did a little bit of it, and I think that he is a good actor. But so one of my biggest problems with King is that sometimes his horror is phenomenal, and sometimes it's so over the top that it's like comedic. Like it's too much. And that actor, he really threw himself into the role in a great way. But then when King was over the top, the actor was over the top, and it was just like, I can't take any of this seriously. So I had a better experience reading physically personally, so I stuck with that.
Andrew D. Meredith, author of The Collation Cycle, would like to know if
the one who introduced us.
Yeah, that's true. Would like to know if you've read this super obscure author by the name of Srandon Banderson.
No.
No.
Pick someone a
Never
little bit more popular. That you can't ask me about really abstract people.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh, that's right. Nikki has a good point. Have you read Terry Goodkind?
No, I haven't read any of his books. Isn't he the one?
His series is really, really long.
Really? No,
Yeah.
I haven't read any of his. I feel like I mean, like Gentleman Bastards is supposed to be like 7 books. And I feel like that's the only really long, like all his books are long and he's going to have quite a few. I feel like that's the only one that I'm like all in. I'm going to read this other than Discworld, but his books are short and quick.
Well, speaking of one of my patrons, the same one wants me to sell you on Dungeon Crawler Carl.
I don't know that one either. This is more lit RPGs.
Yeah.
Listen, I've read like 7 lit RPGs and I don't know that it's the genre for me.
Okay. So Dungeon Crawler Carl is the one that got me into it.
Okay.
Because it's so over the top.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the tagline is the apocalypse will be televised.
Okay.
And so essentially it's this dude, Carl, he's sitting at home one night in his underwear, and basically his cat jumps out the window. He's just gone through this big breakup. He jumps out the window, and so like he dies out after the cat to try and save the cat and get it back in the house because he's like apartment hunting, and then the aliens invade. And basically 90% of the Earth's population is immediately eradicated. And then they take all the structures, shove them underground, and the subterranean Earth becomes this alien dungeon. And humanity has to kind of go through this dungeon for alien entertainment.
Okay,
and his cat gets sentience. And her name is Princess Donut.
I'm not committing to anything, but I will look it up because that does sound fun.
That I recommend on audio because it's amazing. It's amazing. It's really fun. And there's only 6 out so far.
I feel like I've heard of this.
It's everybody I know who has tried Dungeon Crawler Carl, I think 9 out of 10 of them have loved it.
Everybody says that about their faves.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, you're going to start seeing.
Okay. This one is a reasonable length. This does not have a huge barrier to entry.
Sorry. I read a lot of big books.
I mean, I do too, so I have no room to talk.
like 700 to 800 books, it's just like, yeah, I'll read it.
Yeah. I'm the opposite. I'm like, I have so many books I want to read. And so if it's going to be some like something that's not in the genres that I typically find myself loving, and it's 1,200 pages, then I'm like, I don't know about all that.
Geez. Do you have any books that you're hoping to get read before the end of the year?
Yeah. I really want to read Reaper's Gale, which is book.
Oh, you're doing Malazan?
I'm doing Malazan. Have you done Malazan?
Okay. I am currently on I'm currently on House of Chains. And I've been on House of Chains for about 10 months.
Okay. Yeah. House of Chains, is that 3 or 4?
That's 4.
That's 4. I think. Yeah, that was my least favorite one that I've read so far. So if you're having trouble with it, then at least you're doing the same as me. And then the next one I loved. So hopefully you'll have a similar experience. I can't see my books from here, but I have a big old stack of books. Oh, I really want to finish the Dandelion Dynasty. Before the end of the year.
I read the first one.
Speaking of giant, massive books that I've committed to, you've read the first one. Did you like it?
I liked the kind of human storyline. I felt like the tacked on kind of celestial storyline didn't fully work for me.
You mean the gods?
Yeah, the gods. And although I did like the turtle. I like the turtle god. Turtle god was awesome.
Okay.
And it read a lot like a standalone for me. So oftentimes if a series has a break like that, my brain goes, Kate, you're good.
Yeah.
and then I just move on. And they're like, but there's book 2. I was like, no, that was a stopping point. Like, I'm good. Like, resolution over.
I think Ken Liu himself says that book 1 almost services as a prologue, and then the next 3 are like the trilogy, and he just kind of wrote it in this wonky way. But just the same, the way book 1 is kind of choppy in the way he like handles individual character arcs and how everything is really concise, but there's an overarching thing that doesn't continue on. Like, he has a much more through line, traditional novel style writing with the next book. House of Chains is one of your favorites. Good. A lot of people love House of Chains. It's a really versatile one, I think. Versatile?
Baron's in the house. What a Baron. Nico coming in with the sass. The best series I've read and not liked.
Listen, Nico. Why don't you like Dandelion Dynasty? I feel like Nico and I have a lot of the same opinions, so this actually hurts me on a personal level.
Oh, you're gonna have to duke it out with him. He's on Voxer if you ever want to just actually yell at him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, both Nico and I talk on Voxer all day long.
So I've messaged him on Discord. I think if he allowed me to add him on Voxer, he would regret it really quickly.
Oh, you can add me on Voxer. That's the dream.
Okay.
That's the dream right now. Let's nerd out about all the books.
Good. You'll very quickly
this is
tire of me.
Great up and coming channel right here is John from Talking Story. Love his stuff. He also does the blurred background, which I did it for my thumbnails for a while, but I've never actually done it with my camera settings. I'm not smart enough.
Me either. Okay.
I'm technologically inept.
Same. My goodness.
That was like in the 90s. Like, my mom would come to me with computer issues, and I'm like a kid of 9, and I'm like fixing the computer. And now, like, people are like, "Hey, I'm having a computer issue." I'm like, "Did you Google it?"
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's me. I can't tell you how many times I come upstairs from filming, hand the stuff to Corey because he edits my videos, and he's like, "You didn't push record." I'm like,
oh no.
It happens too much.
That is one of my biggest pet peeves is when, like, I've got it uploaded, I've got it in my editor, and then, like, I'm just like, what happened to my audio?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
And, like, it turns out, like, if I'd been paying attention, the red light wasn't on. And so, like, the microphone was never, ever picking up my,
Yeah.
I've only lost about 5 videos that way.
Andrew, I once filmed an hour-long video without filming it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
that hurts me here.
It hurt me too.
Did you immediately try and refilm it, or were you so mad you had to wait a week to come back to it?
I think I had to refilm it. Yeah, I totally did. I remember now because I started the video. Nico just added me on Voxer. When I referenced it for you.
Well, I'm currently in a live show.
Me too, but I have a new friend.
Fine. He was my friend first.
Did you say I was your friend first, or Nico was your friend first?
No, Nico was my friend first.
Oh, okay, because I'm pretty sure I met you and Nico at the same time.
Now I'm sad.
Now you're sad.
Because technologically inept, I went to go search for you. I can't figure it out while I'm talking.
I can't figure it out either. It's so hard to add people on Voxer. I don't understand how people do it.
Yeah, Nico's saying that's the first time he's ever figured out how to add somebody.
Hey! Now I'm going to have like 20 new requests because everybody in the chat's like, oh, I'll just add Merphy too.
Fair enough. Oh, geez. So, are you going to give Stephen King another go, or are you done?
So, I had planned to be done, but then I promised promised a friend that I would read one more. So, I've read 10 books now by Stephen King with varying results. Like, one of his books is one of my all-time favorite standalones, and then I have many that I don't like. So he's just so hit and miss for me that I'm like, there are authors that I know are going to be a hit every time. So why keep going back to an author that sometimes works, sometimes doesn't? But
have you done The Green Mile?
No, I haven't actually. And that's one that a lot of people had said would be a for sure hit. So Okay, so I promised my friend that I would read one more book, and this is supposed to be the last one. And if this isn't the last one, my other friend is going to fly to America and break my kneecaps. So I feel like I do have to stop. She's like, "What? Stop picking up King. You have authors you like more."
The King is very hit or miss for me.
Is he?
Yeah. So I love Green Mile. I love The Stand. I really like it. But then like Misery, Christine, The Dead Zone, all of those don't really work for me. And then I love 11/22/63 and Evil Things. Say what?
Tell me why Misery didn't work for you.
So the reason Misery didn't work for me is because I had constantly heard about the Kathy Bates movie. I'd always heard about the movie and how great the movie was.
Yeah.
And how it was this legendary story. And once somebody tells me something is legendary, it immediately puts it in a different bracket where like it better be flawless.
Yeah.
And so I really enjoyed the core of what Misery was, but at the same time, it's so much into like the zeitgeist of just society that I already knew the big twists and stuff that happened. And that was just all spoiled without ever having watched the movie, without ever having been told. It was like Family Guy ruined Misery, I believe.
Okay.
And so it was just the same thing happened to Dracula. I had watched so many spoofs of Dracula and so many different variations of Dracula that by the time I picked up Dracula, I knew the entire story. And Van Helsing is annoying.
That happened to me with Dracula too, actually. I think the book was ruined by osmosis.
Yeah. So like I'm sitting there reading Van Helsing and like Van Helsing's like, let's have some tea. Oh, have a biscuit. We are now lifelong friends. And it's like, Van Helsing, that's not how that works.
I find that really charming though. I love that about classic books where it's just like, and suddenly we're doing this.
It's like a week later, somebody dies. I'll be the executor of your wills. Like, you just met, dude. Stop.
I love that, though. Do you read a lot of classics?
No. Well, so I did growing up, but I haven't been recently. But I just got a stack. I've got Rebecca, Jane Eyre. I got a whole bunch of Ray Bradbury. Well, I say a whole bunch. I got 3 Ray Bradburys. I got Frankenstein, Farewell to Arms, East of Eden, and a bunch of Agatha Christie.
Have you read Frankenstein?
No.
You just own it.
I just own it. So I know a lot of what Frankenstein is because, like, I've watched like, I almost just said the name of the company, which would mean nothing to you. Dinner and a Play. We have a dinner and a play company here. And they used to do Frankenstein. I've been to high school plays of Frankenstein. I'm not cultured. Say what?
I wouldn't know them because I'm not cultured.
But dinner and a play?
Yeah.
I haven't been to one in like 15 years. My parents are the one who had the subscription. Like, I would just go for the dessert.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Frankenstein would be a good starting place if you're trying to read more classics because it's definitely a little bit more like, I mean, it's beautiful, but it's not your straightforward, okay, I can listen to this while I work kind of story at all.
Well, Joanna and I are doing Rebecca, I think in January.
Okay.
So
you'll have to fill me in on that. You'll have to send me a Voxer about how you like it.
I will. I will loop you in on the Voxer. In fact, I've got a Voxer chat with Joanna.
There we go. That's perfect. Joanna and I talk on Voxer all the time.
Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, a lot of what I like. So like I read Don Quixote growing up. I read Don Quixote when you're not supposed to read Don Quixote.
When are you not supposed to read Don Quixote?
I was like 10.
Wow. You were a smart kid.
No, I don't know. I was a bookish kid. I don't know if I was a smart kid.
Don Quixote is an amazing story.
I don't remember it super well because it's been 23 years since I last read Don Quixote.
Yeah.
And of course, Nico's coming in with Don Quixote is a terrible book. He instead would rather I read The Count of Monte Cristo.
Okay. The Count of Monte Cristo is one of my all-time favorite books. So is that shade towards Count of Monte Cristo too?
No. So last year I started with Count of Monte Cristo, and I hit like that one stopping point where like he's out.
Oh, okay. So you read the most boring part of the book and then you quit?
No, I haven't continued into the most boring part of the book. I was like, this is a good stopping point where I'm happy. I'm 200 pages in. I can come back later.
When he gets out of prison is when it gets interesting.
Really?
Yes.
So isn't the middle part the part that's cut out in the abridged version?
I wouldn't know, but he has like a lot of theological, philosophical conversations with an old man in prison, eh?
Yeah, no, I got that. I got through that.
Okay.
So I got through the prison and I got. Say what?
Then revenge.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to the revenge part yet.
Okay. You got to keep reading.
I went ooh shiny and Merphy. I feel like you're gonna guilt me into reading The Count of Monte Cristo well before I'm ready.
I absolutely
and then I'm gonna feel obligated to give it 5 stars.
Good.
Because then I'm gonna be like, well, Murphy said I had to give it 5 stars, so it's 5 stars.
Yeah, I don't need honest reviews. I just want ones that make me happy.
A poker iron threatening me.
I will literally come to your house with a baseball bat while you film it, just to make sure it gets 5 stars.
That'd be a good collab.
Me just standing in the background with a bat.
You don't say anything. That would be an amazing collab. Like people would just be watching me do this, like really just kind of like, yeah, and really it's amazing. And then like you're just sitting there with a bat behind me, not moving or saying anything.
And you'll be like, I have one critique, and I'll just raise up the bat, and you're like, no, I don't. I have no critiques.
That'd be the ultimate book review. Because it'd be a sleeper book review. Because until people watch it, they'll have no idea unless I put it in the thumbnail. Oh, that would be amazing. Oh yeah, see, I can see the thumbnail.
Yeah. Merphy threatens me to give her favorite book 5 stars.
I'd be down for that.
And then I'll go to Nico's house afterwards and make him re-review Don Quixote.
Oh, Nico's in trouble.
Why doesn't he like the books I like?
He's a bad person, I guess.
That must be it.
Yeah.
I'm going to block him on Boxer before I ever even send him a message. Friendship over.
Friendship over before it began.
That's what you get for having opinions.
It's true. Opinions are dangerous here on the internet.
They are.
Oh, man. So, you mentioned you were doing manga earlier, and you were doing a whole series with Philip, right?
Oh, yeah. We've done a few series now.
What series have you done? I think you did Berserk.
No. We did Vinland Saga, Vagabond, and we just finished Monster. And now we're going to go into To Your Eternity.
That's the one I haven't heard of.
You haven't heard of To Your Eternity? I think it's a little bit less mainstream.
You know what you should do instead?
Berserk?
Nope. Trigun.
The Wandering Inn? What's Trigun?
Trigun.
What's Trigun?
Trigun is Vash the Stampede, and it's kind of humorous, but basically, how do you describe Trigun?
Is it another lit RPG? Is this the lit
RPG?
No,
it's a manga. It's a manga. Trigun is a manga. It's a short manga, so it would be like 1 or 2 live shows.
I assume it's one that you've read?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I read it in high school. Loved it. Trigun.
High school self can never be trusted.
I mean,
no, I'm right about that.
I'm trying to think of a counterpoint.
Yeah.
I'm trying really desperately hard to say you're wrong.
Yeah, but you can't, can you?
No, but I reread it when I was in my mid-20s, and it still stood up. Say what?
I don't know this. I just looked it up.
Trigun?
Yeah, it doesn't look familiar at all.
Yeah, Trigun is like a peak 90s manga anime.
Okay.
Really good.
Yeah, I'm still relatively new to the manga scene, so there's still a lot of series that I have yet to discover.
My older sister was very much, I don't know why I'm still wearing this. I'm not listening to anything. It's out of habit. My sister was very much into manga growing up, so I was just immersed in that world for a long time. So she was also reading like Dracula and all that sort of stuff, like as I was growing up.
Yeah.
So, but I was also like a coward as a kid. I wasn't a coward. I was just a scaredy cat. And she knew I didn't like horror, so she'd purposely put on the horror movie, so I'd leave the room.
So mean. Did she read Junji Ito while you were around? Just leave certain pages open for you to look at?
No. Junji Ito is actually one I've not seen. I've not read it. I wanted
Really?
to read Uzumaki when it was really big 2 years ago. Has it been 2 years since Uzumaki was like big on the scene?
No idea. I read it after it was big.
But when I went to the store to buy it, they had every other Junji Ito except Uzumaki.
Of course.
And so I walked away defeated.
Boo. You should have gotten Tomie.
They had that one.
Yeah.
But I hadn't heard about that one. I had heard about crazy sphere swirl thingies.
Uzumaki changed my brain chemistry.
Did it?
Dude, for a long time, I couldn't look at spirals. Like, I saw them everywhere, and I could not look at them the same. It was messed me up.
No thanks.
No, not in a bad way. It was just like it actually, like, usually I love a good horror. Well, actually, I'm super picky with horror, but ones that I connect with that like actually get under my skin, I'm like, it affected me. That's awesome. But Uzumaki actually like stuck with me a little bit too long.
Too long. This right here is my favorite horror.
What is it?
This is Nightmareland Chronicles, and you can see they're super short.
Yes, they are. Horror should be short, I think.
Nightfall, Lullaby. This is all one series. This is the first arc. Sleepwalking.
Okay.
I love these. The Flashlighters. Basically, this is like the sun goes out and people's brains can't handle it. And the sun goes out in a supernatural way, and people's brains, like they kind of just mentally snap.
Does the sun literally go out? Like we no longer have heat or light?
No, there's still heat. There's no secular sun. It's just nighttime.
Why is there still heat? Explain this.
So it's a supernatural kind of. If I explain it, it ruins it.
No, that can't be true.
There is a supernatural reason why people aren't seeing the sun.
Okay, so the sun doesn't go out.
No, it's not out. People just can't see it.
So it's been blocked?
Like it's been blocked in a sort of way, but basically it goes out in a way that like people just start snapping, and then nightmares start kind of popping into the world and become made manifest. And then this man goes on a quest to try and find his family that he is estranged from. Mm-hmm. It's very good. It's very good. Okay, it appeals. It appeals to the fantasy readers, I think, fairly well because it's got a quest trope in it, and the quest trope is a through line all the way through. But it's also really messed up and kind of dark.
Okay. Cool. That sounds interesting. Yeah. I could be into that.
The reason nobody's talking about Nightmareland right now is Daniel is currently he wants to write the entire second arc before he releases book 7. And that's why it's kind of dormant right now, is because he's not really doing a lot of promotion for it because he's too busy writing.
That's a smart way to do it.
Have you been dipping your toes into SelfPub at all?
I do. I don't read SelfPub as much as you do. I read probably about 1 a month. And the last several months, I've had several friends publishing SelfPub. So I've been reading my friends' books. So my stack of SelfPub. What's that?
I said that's fine.
That is fine. But then my stack of SelfPub that I'm like, these are authors that it's like, if I love your book, then I want to be able to put it on the channel. They are not getting read as much as I had thought that they would over the last few months. But it definitely is a lot less than you do.
Oh, are you kidding? This shelf is SelfPub, and this shelf is SelfPub.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I've gotten into lit RPG, the whole
oh my goodness, yeah,
the whole
there's
thing's
so much
wide open.
Have you read Six Sacred Swords? And
that's Andrew Rowe, correct?
Yeah, and his other series that I had read some of was
Arcane Ascension.
Yeah. Have you read
I
any
just
of his
read
stuff?
Sufficiently Advanced Magic this month.
Sufficiently Advanced Magic, that's the one. Yes.
Yeah.
How did you like it?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I actually did a short on autistic protagonists because I'm fairly certain Corin is on the spectrum.
Okay.
Corin, the main character, because he hyper focuses. He doesn't have good social skills, and it's implied that he doesn't like physical contact and things of that nature. And so he made my list of top 3 autistic protagonists. But I loved it. It's a very interesting and complex world. I am planning on reading book 2 here soon. But I mean, my Discord's hosting a readathon next month, so I couldn't fit it in for next month. Although if I have time, I'll fit it in for next month. But the next Wandering In book is 60 hours long.
Crazy man. Beneath the Dragonite Moon. I didn't pick up that she was autistic, but the author, and I read 3 of those books, but the author says that she is. So that might be
Beneath the Dragonite Moons. Looking it up.
Those books can be rough because he didn't have an editor, and definitely took a while to get to where he was proud of about his prose and stuff. Yeah.
By Selkie Myth.
Yeah. But even though I'm a prose snob, and I'm not going to continue the series, but I read 3 books of it because I was interested enough in the story.
Do you consider yourself a prose snob?
I do.
What is a prose snob?
So I'm not like, I don't want purple prose. I don't want really indulgent, like Nevernight, like kind of stuff. But
never read it.
Never read it. Okay, that's fine. I can bash it then, without fear of insulting you, or like How to Lose a Time War kind of prose. Like, don't like, but
didn't read it.
Okay, that's fine. Authors that really take time to make their prose beautiful, to really make them very thoughtful, like Patrick Rothfuss. I'm currently reading City of Last Chances. Oh my
By Adrian Tchaikovsky?
Yes, the prose is incredible. So like or Robin Hobb has really nice prose. Brandon Sanderson doesn't. Like, so obviously I can enjoy an author that I don't personally care for their prose because I love Brandon Sanderson. But if an author does have like really intentional, beautiful prose, then I eat it up. And then if they don't, then I'll still like their book, but I will be a brat and talk about, like, I don't like these prose, like probably too often.
So Andrew's got really good prose. And then apparently Lewis McMaster Bejeweled also has good prose. With Curse of Shalian. Yeah, Curse of Shalian.
I've heard
and
of
then
that.
Also Janie Wirtz has amazing prose. Although she kind of ranges from great prose to purple. So she's in, like, she's got a whole series of purple prose that I'm kind of saving for last. I want to get through the rest of the backlog before I dive into that.
Yeah.
Nico is saying Janie Wirtz has the most beautiful prose he's ever read.
Okay, I will read it just so I can trash it.
Janie is a very, very, very beautiful soul and an amazing artist. She does all of her own covers.
Don't make me feel bad. I just want to pick on Nico.
Oh, you can pick on Nico all you want.
Jenny Wart. Can you put the name back on the screen so I can look at the spelling?
Yes.
Janie Wirtz. Okay.
Yeah. She did Where is it? This is all Janie words right here.
Oh my golly.
What did I just drop? Oh, bookmark. Daughter of the Empire that she did with Raymond E. Feist is really good. This is top tier. And then, where is it? It's down here. No, wait, I grabbed the wrong book. That was Mark Lawrence. My elbow doesn't go that angle. And then here's The Right Hell's Chasm. This is a standalone. Philip loves this.
Okay.
So this has got Philip and Joanna's seal of approval.
Okay.
Just to add more books to the TBR, because that's what we do to each other.
Right, exactly. What's the point of a live stream if you don't force me to read at least 10 more books?
We're getting a lot of Janie Wirtz, hell yes.
Oh, so, wow. Okay, apparently I need to try Janie Wirtz.
Super underrated.
Really?
Super underrated.
Okay.
Unlike Patrick Rothfuss, who is super overrated.
I both agree and disagree.
My problem with it is I got halfway through Wise Man's Fear, and I just couldn't anymore. Like, he got into a fight with his... what was her name?
Yeah, the unrequited love. Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah, the unrequited love, and I just shut the book and I walked away. And I counted the page count, by the way. It was exactly 50%. I was exactly 50%.
You didn't get to the magical fairy sex that turns him into a sex god?
I already know all. People, everybody told me about it. Everybody told me about it.
It's because it's so laughable that you can't not talk about it.
It's straight up wish fulfillment. I was just like, no thanks. And then I am of the opinion, this is my opinion, that Kvothe is a Gary Stu right up until the author doesn't want him to be. He's like, I want to get Kvothe to get in trouble, so I'm going to make him do something stupid. And then, like, he gets in trouble, and then he goes back to being a Gary Stu. And then he just goes back and forth.
I think that's fair. The books are flawed, but they're also, it's like there's something phenomenal, but they're also something laughable at the same time. And it just depends on which part you're talking about.
And like, what was it? The end of book 1, Bast does something like incredibly, like, just like it weird. And like, he gets like super aggressive. And I'm just like, where did that come from? Like, you're going to explain that? Which obviously not, because we're never getting Doors of Stone.
No, we're not. Yeah. I thought book 1 was like, okay, this is a new favorite series. And then I read book 2 and I was like, oh, no, you're not going to be able to finish this well.
I got so mad that Kvothe goes on this whole epic journey in book 2. Mm-hmm. Goes on this whole epic journey to cross the ocean, and stuff happens, and it is a paragraph. And I was just like, I wanted the book to be that.
Yeah. But
and instead it was that.
But book 2 has one of the most epic magical fighting scenes I've ever read. Did you get to the fighting scene with Kvothe on a hill?
I don't remember.
Oh, dude.
I don't remember. Honestly, I don't.
That's all right. That was really good.
Did you ever read Sword of Kaigen? That's got a good fight scene.
Sword of Kaigen is so good. Did you see the new editions?
I've got it on the way. Are you kidding?
No, hold on. We're book nerds. I gotta go grab it.
You've got the new one? I'm literally sitting at my window every day when the mail truck rolls up. I am so angry.
Look at it. Wait,
I'm so happy for you.
No,
and
you're
also
not.
I'm so
Look
mad.
at it. What? Wait, I'm not done. What? Look how pretty it is. It's just, it doesn't end. It's so pretty everywhere you look. Wait, I'm not done.
This is my sad face.
Look at all the new chapters. They're all so pretty. And then it's so sad because when I got this in the mail, and by the way, Andrew, I've had this for several days now. When I got this in the mail, When I got this in the mail, I immediately was like, okay, time for a Sword of Kaigen reread because it's been too long. But I'm going to be reading Blood Over Brighthaven in like a week. And I'm like, I can't. This is really big. Like, there's a lot of pages. Oh, look how shiny it is, Andrew. Look how pretty.
That is super shiny. I've got
It's
the
such a
Folio
good book.
Society of Pet Cemetery.
Oh, that's my one king book. That's the king book that has kept me reading 10 more books. Just looking for the next Pet Cemetery. A spiral. Okay, you put it away. This isn't fun when it's you doing it.
No, so I like it was 3 days ago, and somebody in the UK was like, "I've got mine," and I was just like, "What?
How did you get it?
How did you get it already?" And then they're like, "Oh yeah, it's just this really strange rollout. So be looking for your like shipping notification." So I'm like opening up my phone, hitting refresh every single day, and then like, so basically I can see my mailbox from like this window.
Yeah.
So I just watch the mail truck roll by, and I just kind of.
We do that too. I can just turn like this and see the mail, and so anytime anything drives by our window, I always like check, and then Corey and I always race each other to the mailbox, even though neither of us gets anything ever. I'm always just like, maybe there's a book, even though I didn't order anything.
So do you get a lot of review copies, or do you have a PO box set up?
No, I don't have a PO box set up, and I don't get review copies.
If you set up a PO box, every day would be Christmas for you.
No, I know. I used to have a PO box, and I started drowning in books that I wasn't going to read, and I felt super guilty. So I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore, because like people were spending their money to send me books, and it was so much that there was no possible way for me to read them all. So I was like, this can't be fun for people to just spend your money so that I don't read the book you want.
You could have come up with your own version of Please Dear God Don't Be a Bomb.
I could have. That's true, I guess.
You could have given Daniel a run for his money.
Yeah, I don't know. Eventually, like, your shelves overflow, and it's just like, what? I want to read books, not feel guilty about having bookshelves full of things that I won't read.
Yeah, I've got about 50 books stacked up over here that I've removed from the shelves because I'm like, I'm never going to get to these. And
right, that's not fun.
Yeah, well, it is fun now to look at my shelves and I'm like, okay, I'm excited to read everything on here now. And then like, now I need to still add another shelf, even though I've removed 50 books because I haul too many books.
Yeah.
Like I get 20 to 30 books every month.
Is it all review stuff, or is it stuff that you spend your money on?
50-50.
Really?
Yeah. This month I had the great idea. I was like, what if I take my YouTube ad revenue, which is just so ginormous, it's $100 every 3 months. And what if I take my patron money and I blow it all on a special edition or two? That'll be fine, right? You're frozen, so I'm assuming you're taunting me. Yeah, there you go. You're taunting me. And I do have that one on the way. But then, like, I still ended up with 25 books, so it didn't work.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, oh, I'll take a month and I'll do this experiment. Maybe I can control myself that way. No, that's I can't.
So funny. Yeah, so I have a rule where I plan out my reading the month before, so I know what books I'm going to read. And then when it comes to the first of the month, so I have my new fun money budget, and I go through that list and I only buy what's on the list of what I intend to read the next month. And so it's just like at the beginning of the month, I get like 5 books in the mail and it's super exciting. And then the rest of the month it's dry. And I'm just like, mail time's not fun.
That sounds like you have good impulse control. No.
Not a skill you possess.
No. And I also like, I've got my email set up so people can email me for review requests. And I do scan through those. I probably accept 10 review requests a month-ish. And I'm already out by a year and a half. Like,
really?
I don't know why I keep saying yes. Well, okay, so I did something dumb. I did something super dumb. When I set up my channel, I was like, oh, I should set up an email. So I did set up an email. And I was like, and then I didn't think that I linked it. And I did. So I wasn't checking it. And so I got like a year into having that email. I was like, I'll go and link this thing. And when I went and checked and saw it was already linked, I signed into it and I had probably 120 emails.
Oh no.
90 of which were review requests.
Yeah.
And I probably accepted 30.
Yeah.
All at once.
Oh no. Well, you read a lot in a month though.
Yeah, I typically read about 15 a month.
Yeah.
Is my average. I can do more. It's unhealthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a while I was just like, I'm going to be the guy who reads nonstop and I'll be talking about it. And then like I burned out and I got to the point where it was like, I'd sit down in front of the camera and I'd glare at it before I'd turn it on.
Oh no.
And so I had to cut back on all that. Like it was getting too much. But I'm sure everybody who has done YouTube has experienced the burnout.
I have like 11 or 12 books. So usually I'm around 8 in a month. But this month I decided I'm just going to focus on small books. And I think I have like 2 books that are around 500, but everything else is like 300 pages. And so I'm like,
that's good stuff.
Right. So I'm like, I'm just going to pile it on. It's going to be the month of small books. And I have like 12 books, I think, that by the end of the month I'll have read. And I planned this out. I planned out the buddy reads. Like, this is done. This is done business. Like, people are prepared to read these books with me. And I've had to like push myself to get that much reading in. And normally I'm just like, reading is awesome. I just love to read. And I have loved this month. I've read a lot of great books. But man, when you try to cram that many books in a month, it actually becomes like you got to schedule your time to make that work.
Alan likes to give me a lot of crap. Alan from Library of Alexandria.
Just like everyone else.
Month I did it one time, and I think I read like it was ridiculous. It was like either 25 or 35 books in a month. It was something ridiculous. I was reading so much. It was for a readathon, and I don't remember the exact amount I read. It was at least the mid-20s.
Were they all short?
No.
Andrew.
They were at least 300 to 400 pages, almost all of them.
Okay. Well, 300 isn't terrible, but if you're doing 35 of those.
Yeah. I don't know if it was 35, but it was something ludicrous. Maybe 28. We'll say it was 28. And I hated myself after the end of that month. Like I was just like, what am I doing? Like I haven't had time to shave.
Yeah.
It was too much.
Yeah.
So in moderation, it's all in moderation.
No, yeah, totally. I mean, it's very easy, especially if you're doing review copies and stuff, so other people are counting on you. It's really easy to be like, okay, how much can I cram into my month? But then you lose the love of it, and it's like, why even do it then? This is supposed to be something that I love and that I'm excited about. So finding that balance is essential.
I think it was during lockdown. It probably was because I started my channel in 2021, which you found my channel relatively early.
Did I?
How do you stay so connected to like all of these channels?
I like BookTube.
You like BookTube and you just like socializing.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Because I think you and Daniel found me at around 700 subs, roughly around the same time. It was within a week. Now I've never actually spoken to Daniel, but like he follows me on Twitter.
Okay.
So that's the extent of our interaction.
Did you do a video that made us find you?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Because usually if Daniel and I subscribe to somebody at the same time, it's because they've done a video that's like we found one of us found somebody and then we were like, hey, check out this video, and then the other one, and then we just kind of like both follow at the same time. So, but if you didn't do a video that was specific to like calling out Daniel Green or something like that.
I know I did a video on his first book.
That's probably what it was then. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure he was following everybody that he could find that was reviewing his book, and I was following a bunch of people that were reviewing his book.
Have you read Neon Ghost yet?
Neon Ghost. That's the one he just published. No, but it's over there. I'm gonna read it. Probably.
Do you have the nice Kickstarter edition already? Yeah, he sent you one.
1 second. Oh, it's so pretty! Look at it! Isn't it so nice?
It is so nice. It's gorgeous.
Wow, look at the innards. It's so pretty. Wow.
You know what, Merphy? I think you've got a mean streak in you.
Am I a fun guest? Do you still like me?
Yes. 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 That is actually one I plan on reading here soon, but I'm probably going to do it on Kindle.
On Kindle,
my work computer yelling at me. Anyway.
Let's see.
I did have a question I wanted to ask you.
I'm pretty sure I'm reading this in September. Author photo. What do you want to ask me?
How has BookTube changed in the last 7 years?
Well, when I joined BookTube, it was just, we were all just chilling, you know, like it was not a thing. There were like the 3 big channels, Paul and Bananas Books, Jesse, and Kat. And they were like, they were the booktubers, and then everybody else, we were all just vibing. And like the idea of growing, I don't think was on anyone's mind, you know, like now BookTube has gotten to be so big. There's so many people that it's like, it's a much bigger community. So you have to be really intentional to actually stay connected and to be finding new faces and making sure that like you're actually like a part of something and not just doing your own thing off to the side of something. And as far as what content, I feel like the content's kind of like, it's still really similar, you know, it's the wrap-ups and the TBRs and the hauls and the reviews. Like we're all just chatting about books, you know, which I kind of love that about BookTube. Yeah. That it's just like, we're all just here to be nerds.
We are. It's what we're good at.
This is what we're good at.
Although sticking yourself in front of a camera to do it, that takes some getting used to.
It really does. It takes time to actually be able to be yourself in front of a camera. Like no matter how hard you try. Like I look back at my old videos and I'm like, who is she?
I privated like a good 3 months.
Yeah.
Of my early videos because I'm just like, these are awful.
Yeah. Totally. I've privated loads of old videos because it's like there was never any point where I was putting on a face, but it's just kind of hard to feel. It's hard to just feel comfortable in front of a camera if you've never been in front of a camera. Like that takes a lot of time. And now when I sit down to film, I like in my mind, I'm talking to my subscribers. Like everybody's in the room with me, right? But in the beginning, you're talking to a camera, and that's a really different vibe.
Yeah, getting used to like actually connecting with an audience that isn't actually physically there.
Totally.
You still get the same jitters as if you're public speaking.
Do you? Or do you get jitters when you sit down to film?
Sometimes.
That's interesting.
Thank you so much for the 5 spot. Any spooky recommendations that are not Stephen King or Dracula? I'll let you take the first one.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I really liked Dead Silence, which is like a haunted ghost ship that is in space. It's a spaceship that they've lost signal, but they have a ghost signal. And then when they get there, it's like a really grotesque murder scene that's just like suspended in space. And they have to try to figure out what happened. It's really cool.
Okay. I've got a couple. Well, we'll do this one because it's 6 books. And I've already talked about it.
No. Do a different one.
You want me to do a different one?
Cheat.
All right. I'm not allowed to cheat?
No.
So horror is not my main thing, but I do want to read, as I drop my books, Ray Bradbury.
I do too.
So October Country, The Halloween Tree, and I heard this is legendary. Something Wicked This Way Comes. So that is something that I really want to check out. Don't fall. I'm acknowledged in that one. There we go.
And which one?
Lily. There is no greater feeling than being acknowledged in somebody's book.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's a huge honor. It's
so cool, and like it lets you know that like, you know, you're making friends and what you're doing matters, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, that's super cool. I want to recommend to give like a couple of classics. The Haunting of Hill House is amazing.
Oh, I want to get the Folio Society edition of that one.
Have you read it?
I have not.
Oh,
but I heard it's supposed to be super spooky.
I love books that are like that'll make the normal things in daily life very uncomfortable. You know, like that shadow seems a little bit off. I can't explain why. It just seems off. Or like that door just closed on its own. It probably was a gust of wind, but what if it wasn't? You know, like every day just something feels wrong. And then like the characters are trying to explain it too. Like, oh, the doors are hung oddly and that's why they're swinging, you know, on their own or whatever. But then like things escalate and it's a supernatural thing. And then whenever weird things happen to you, then you're like, it's probably nothing. It's probably nothing. You know, like that. I love that in The Haunting of Hill House. Oh my goodness. Does it so
okay. Well. You've just sold me on Haunting of Hill House.
Yay! So sure.
I was very on the fence about it because so there are 3 classics I want to get from Folio. I want to get Howl's Moving Castle. I want to get The Princess Bride, and I want to get The Haunting of Hill House.
Nice. That's a good lineup.
That's a solid lineup. We'll see when I can get to it. Let's see.
It's October. That's when you're gonna get to it.
Yeah, this October.
Yes.
Like I don't already have a whole bunch of stuff lined up to
Andrew,
read.
it's like under 200 pages.
All of them?
The Haunting of Hill House? It's only 1 book.
Oh, that's true. I'm trying to see if I've got any horror. Mike's the horror guy, not me.
The Woman in Black was another really
There's
great
Nosferatu, but that's technically tangentially connected to King.
Wow, that's okay. Oh wait, no, it's not. They specifically said no King.
Boy's Life. It's not super horror, but I really enjoyed it. And then there's also anything Clive Barker. Clive Barker is very weird, but at the same time, it's also very good. Like Weave World is a nice portal. And then if you want to get into deep philosophical, there's a Magica. That one messed with my brain because it's super messed up.
We already talked about Junji Ito, which is a great mangaka for
we did
horror. I really like his horror. I'm cheating. I'm looking up my horror list.
Oh, that's what you're doing. I was like, you're looking really intently into the camera.
I didn't list them in the description. I have to actually watch the video to get the content. What kind of nonsense is that?
That's some rookie stuff that I would do. Like we all know what we're doing.
That's just laziness right there.
It's so much effort. If you're looking for some darker fantasy, though, I can recommend Mark Lawrence's Broken Empire.
If you want some like real old books, like written during the Crusades, I just read the Castle of Otranto, and it's not really scary, but it was interesting. This video wasn't helpful.
Wasn't helpful at all?
No, she didn't know what she was talking about.
Oh.
Old Merphy,
Well,
really.
you should watch somebody who knows what they're talking about. I love how I'm just looking at my entire collection, hoping it gives me an answer.
Yeah, I'm not even in my office, so I can't even look at my books. That's super unfair. I have a horror shelf on my bookshelf.
You know what? At
can't
least
picture
you already have the Sword of Kaigen. How about that?
it. Oh, should I pick it up again? Here it is. Oh, so pretty.
It's just mean.
Yeah, I am mean. I really am.
I don't know. I really like Robert McCammon's Boy's Life, though. That one is a beautiful. It's more of a murder mystery than anything else, and it's like people in Zephyr, Alabama. They have this murderer living among them, and this mysterious murdered man who they don't know who it is, and it kind of creates this great tense atmosphere. It's more of a suspense horror from the eyes of like a 10-year-old.
Oh,
Very good.
interesting. Yeah, that sounds cool.
Love it.
I really like Haunted Island kind of vibe. Like you're trapped. I like trapped and ghosts. Those are the things that I like. So, haunted house, haunted island, haunted ship. Like that's
so
what
you
I
love
like.
Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island.
Yes.
It's a fantastic movie.
Scooby-Doo is just a win. I was reading a horror book like a month ago, probably. And I was in the middle of reading a really visceral horror, gross scene. And it was like late at night. I was the only one awake. And then I started hearing like scraping movements in the next room. And I was like, okay.
I've done that.
You've done that?
If I hear something that freaks me out,
yeah.
And like if I hear it and I'm in the shower and I know I'm the only one awake, I will get out of the shower, wrap a towel, and then I will go through the entire house.
Yeah. So I try to logic my way out of it. Like I'm like the people at the Haunting of Hill House. I'm like, okay, no one's broken into your house before. The odds of it happening while you're reading a horror book and you're already kind of spooked is very unlikely. So that's probably not the answer is right now. No, I'm like trying. Well, I'll go check. I'm fine with checking, but I need to calm myself down first. I need to get my head to where it's like, okay, you're not dying today. Now get up and go check, right? And because if I'm freaked out and I go check, then every shadow is going to be the killer, and I don't want to scream and wake everybody up and make myself embarrassed. So I'm like calming myself down. I'm like working myself down, and then I hear the scraping noise again, and I like go back up, and I have to calm myself down, and then I hear the scraping noise again. It's just like it's this cycle, and then finally the cat meows, and I realize it's just the cat.
It's been the cat the entire time.
It's just the cat inside of a cabinet. Like it's nothing. He's just crawling around the cabinets like a little jerk, trying to bring me out. Your Rift War book? What's that?
Rift War. Oh God, don't drop these. These are expensive. Are these? These are from Grim Oak Press.
They are shiny.
And they're also leather bound.
Ah, nice. Those are very pretty.
They got the sewn in ribbon. They've got interior illustrations. They're signed.
Nice.
Rift War is like one of those quintessential 80s portal fantasies.
Ah, I love portal fantasy.
I'm going to use a trigger word on you to see if I can't get you to add it to your TBR, since you like portal fantasy so much.
I do.
What do
you do when you have pretty books underneath the cover? And it's like, this would be just as pretty if I took all the covers off and put it on my shelf that way. How do you make that choice?
I tried to do that when I was a teenager. And I piled all the dust jackets up, and then I would just toss stuff onto the dust jacket. And I realized that was no way to live my life. And I was an awful book collector. So I just wrap them in Mylar. And it takes me seconds to just pop it off, look at it, and then put it back on.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I have the Jack Aubrey collection in a really pretty edition, but the dust jackets are just as pretty as they are without. And it's like, I spent the extra money because I thought the dust jackets were so pretty, but underneath they're so pretty. And so now I feel like I don't know what to do. So they just sit on my desk instead of going on my shelf because I don't know how to present them.
Another one like that is one that you currently you told me you read it or you were reading it. City of Last Chances, the Goldsboro edition, is a stunning book without its dust jacket.
Really? I'm listening to it on audiobook, so I don't own it in any edition right now.
I had it, and I sent it to a friend.
And I never get it back.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Did you not like the book?
It's not that it's bad. I am very hit or miss with Adrian Tchaikovsky.
Did you?
I either love it or I'm just, I don't care. This one I already have the audio and I have the ebook, and I needed shelf space and I needed money, so I was just like, "Hey, you want this?" Because it's very hard to get a hold of, and he was like, "Yeah, sure." And yeah.
Okay, but are you going to read it?
Maybe.
Okay. I'm not even half done with it.
I've tried twice. I've tried twice so far already.
With that particular book. It's a really slow start.
Yeah.
I'm not even half done with it, so I don't even know if I'm going to like it or not, but the prose is really pretty.
Yeah, he's a great writer. He's a fantastic writer. I really like his Children of Time. I did not care for the sequel, and so I just put it down. But I do have, I've got a ton of his books literally right next to me. I've got 3 of his books right next to me. And then I got more over there because they're in a different size, and I organize by size instead of author. So
nice. Oh, wow. You have different, those are different editions?
These are all different books.
Oh, they're different series?
Yeah. He writes, he is the UK Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah, I know he writes a lot.
He's only been published for like 15 years, and he's already got like 25 books out.
And his books are not short.
Mm-mm.
That's crazy, man. That's insane because his prose is so pretty. How can he be that prolific and still have such beautiful prose?
I think he wrote like 8 books before he ever got published.
Oh, okay. Well, that's something.
So just his backlog. And then, but yeah. That doesn't explain for the other 10 books.
That's wild.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got another 5 over there. So I've got 8 of his books on my shelf.
In my mind, a really great prose author needs to take their time. Like they have to write slowly. Like Suzanne Clark. Like she takes 10 years to publish a book, but her books are worth it. You know what I mean?
Okay. I've never read Suzanne Clark.
You haven't even read Pure Nessie? That book is so short.
Mm-mm.
Andrew.
I have been specifically told that Pure Nessie is going to bug me.
I actually agree with that. I think that you would really love Strange Norrell, though.
I do want to read Norrell, but that
no, don't even wandering in. Don't even at me with that. I think you would love that book, Andrew. Like specifically, you would love. Don't even with that.
I will add it, and I will get it.
Yeah. You're darn right.
What's up, Shad? We're actually getting ready to wrap up here soon because I got to put my baby to bed. But thank you so much for coming on. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've had fun.
Oh, we can end with you yelling at me. No, I'm just kidding.
Good. End with me being me. Just do like a highlight reel of nothing but me being a jerk to you.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Merphy bullies me for an hour and a half.
Giant booktuber picks on the small guy.
Big booktuber comes on just to be mean. I invited Merphy because I thought it'd be a good time, but she just made me feel terrible.
Exactly. But on the unlikely event that you haven't subscribed to Merphy's channel, I have links to both of her channels in the description box down below. If I did my job correctly, I did it in my brain. If it's not there, I'm sorry, and I'll put it there. But she has 2 different channels, one for long form content and one for book reviews and blogs. Did I do that right?
Thanks for having me on, Andrew. It was great talking to you.
Oh, yeah. And look at my special editions. Thanks for coming, Merphy.
I'm happy to. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let us say good night.
Night.
Night.